Yeah, you can proceed, Andy.
Hope everybody got the access, right? Like if you have any issues with the access, let me know. Or if you have any doubts in previous sessions, right? So you can ask me. So I'm going to share my screen. So able to see my screen, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Sorry. So in last sessions, we started discussing about master data, right? Before that, we have completed the enterprise structure. So where we have created our own company, we have created our own company code, sales organization, distribution channel, division, and we created plant, shipping point, and storage location. So we define the individual organizational units, and we did the assignment part also. So we completed both like definition part as well as assignment part. So to run a business or to create an order, so we need to have certain master data. So as part of master data, so we started discussing about the customer master data, right? So we'll start completing the we'll try to complete the customer master data. Once we complete the customer master data, so then we'll discuss on the material master data, right? So to create an order, customer details are very important as well as material details are very important, right? Without having the customers and materials, so we'll not be able to create the order, right? So we are going to create the customers as well as materials now. So as we know, the transaction code which we use to create the customer master data is XD01. So last time we have seen both path as well as transaction code, right? So I'm just using the transaction code XD01, then get inside of this. So I told you we have discussed about the account group. So what is the importance of account group, right? So it controls the number ranges, it controls the partner functions, it controls the field status, whether particular field is optional, mandatory, or suppressed, or it will be used only for display purpose, right? So for practice purpose, I told you to select the GAZ1, sold to party R/3 CRM. So these are account group which we will be using for practice purpose. In further classes, further sessions, we'll be discussing how to create our own account group also. There is a topic called partner determination. In that topic, we'll be using we'll be creating the new account group, and we'll be configuring the partner functions for the particular account group. So for time being, our intention is to create the customer master as of now. So I'm using this standard existing account group, GAZ1. Use this account group for your practice purpose also. Okay, so you'll be able to create the proper customer if you're using this account group. Okay, so as I told, so in further sessions, like we'll be discussing how to create our own account group and how to configure the customer for our own account group, right? So I selected the account group GAZ1 and enter the company code. So what is your company code? TZ01 is my company code. TZ01 is my company code. And sales organization is, my sales organization is TZ01. And distribution channel is T1. And division is T1. So I have entered the sales area, like sales organization, distribution channel, division. Enter the sales area and enter the company code. So and once you enter these details, click on continue button. So the structure of the customer master data, it contains the general data. So general data, nothing but general information of the customer. Okay, all the address details, name, or like if they have the address, phone number, country, region, post box number, everything. Okay, so all the general information will be maintained in the general data. Okay, so first we are entering the general data, entering the data in general data. Okay, so let's select Mrs. Ms. whatever, like enter. So you can enter some name of the customer. Okay, so let's say you can enter some XYZ name. So A1 Enterprises. So whatever the name you want to enter for the customer, right? So this is a customer number, right? So enter the postal code. So postal code 6-digit in Indian format. Okay, so enter city, like you can enter Mumbai or whatever the city you wanted to enter. So enter the country, IN, I'm entering IN. So whatever the details in general data, you can enter, you can fill up all the details. Whatever the fields are mandatory, you can enter mainly. So country is mandatory, but how do you know that whether particular field is mandatory or not? Based on this checkbox you can see here, right? So wherever if you see the checkbox, that means that is a mandatory field. If you don't enter that field, system will not allow you to go further, right? So I'm just entering the mandatory fields and important fields here. Remaining fields is up to you, like language, mobile number, telephone number. So all those details, if you want, you can enter. Otherwise, just leave it blank. It is all like it is all based on customer requirement, client requirement. Okay, so client want to have these details while creating their customers, so they'll enter whatever the details they wanted to. But for practice purpose, like no need to enter all these details because it is not going to affect our transactions. I'm just entering my country and mandatory fields. Okay, once we enter these fields, go to company code data. Okay, so as I said, the structure of the customer master data contains the general data. We enter the data in general data. Now I'm moving on to the company code data. So company code data is called as the accounting data. So because company code data contains all accounting related information, finance related information, right? So all the accounting related information will be maintained here. Basically, in projects, in real-time projects, so FI team, they'll be maintaining, FI team, they'll be providing these details, reconciliation account. If you are having FI background, finance background, then you'll be understanding about the reconciliation account. It's a kind of general ledger accounts. Okay, so which updates parallel to the subledger accounts. So like in its accounting terminology, basically it is a GL account number, general ledger account number, which will be provided by the FICO consultants. Okay, so for practice purpose, enter 1,40,000. Okay, it is standard general ledger account, which I'm entering here. So we can create our own GL account, but that is not our that is not our job. Like it will not have access to create the GL accounts in production, right? So no need to get into those things. Finance part is separate thing again. So don't, it will be like more should not make it very complicated, right? So that is the reason I'm using the existing standard reconciliation account, which is provided by SAP. But in production, in real-time projects, FI team, they'll be creating the general ledger accounts and they'll be providing these details. Right. So these are all fields not required. Okay, FI related. So only important field here is reconciliation account. I'm just entering the reconciliation account here. Right. So we enter the data in general data. Now we are in company code data. Now we are getting into sales data. This is very important for us. Right. So last time, like we had discussed about the sales data, general data and company code data. So now we'll be discussing about sales data. So sales data, again, it contains 4 different tabs: sales, shipping, billing, and part of functions, right? So these 4 tabs we have in sales data. So these 4 tabs are very important for us as the consultant. Okay, if we have sales districts and sales office and sales group are defined, you can enter those districts. Okay, so basically these 3 fields will be used for reporting purpose. Okay, so what is the sales happen in the particular district? So what is the sales happen in the particular sales office? So what is the sales happen? What is the revenue we have got for the last financial year for the particular sales group? So if you have sales office and sales group, I told you, right, when you're practicing, I told you to define the sales office and sales group also. If we have sales office and sales group which is created by you, then you can assign here. And these 3 fields will be used mainly for reporting purpose, as I said. Okay, for any kind of report. Okay, if you want to extract the data based on the sales office and sales district or sales group, we can enter those details and we can generate one report also. Okay, reporting that we'll be discussing later, but so it will not affect any transactions. Okay, just these 3 fields will be used for reporting purpose mainly. Okay. So then we have currency is a very important field for us. Okay, currency, under which currency this customer deals with. So INR. And very important fields which you need to remember here in this sales tab is price group, price list, and customer pricing proposal. These 3 fields are very important. These 3 fields mainly used for pricing purpose. Okay, so pricing is a very big topic again. So we'll be discussing pricing separately, but I'll tell you what is the importance of these 3 fields here. So pricing, price group, and price list. Okay, so these 2 fields, right? So price list and price group is kind of grouping of the customer with the similar characteristics. So try to understand here. Grouping of the customers with the similar characteristics. So let's say, for example, in our company, the company is having like 50,000 customers. In 50,000 customers, Let me put it in Excel. Okay, so if you see, let's say we have 50,000 customers all around. Okay, so in which 5,000 customers are wholesalers, right? And which like 2,000 customers, are bulk buyers, Remaining 43 will be regular, normal customers, So I wanted to differentiate the customers. Okay, so I wanted to group the customers based on their buying behavior. So for wholesalers, I want to give separate price. Like so for all the wholesalers, let's say I want to give for like $1,000, right? For bulk buyers, I wanted to give for $950, right? So for remaining all 43,000 customers, okay, so I want to give it for like $1,250. So I'm just differentiating the customers, right? So for that, I'm grouping the customers based on their buying behavior. So for all 5,000 customers, I'll make them a wholesaler. For all wholesalers, I'll maintain separate price. It's very difficult to maintain price for each and every customer, right? Instead of that, for all wholesalers, I'll maintain separate price. For all the bulk buyers, I'll maintain separate price. For remaining all customers, there will be separate price, right? For that, like grouping of the customers, we'll use this price group and price list. Okay, for all the 5,000 customers, we'll get into each and every customer. We'll go to price group. Okay, here what I can do is I'll assign him one. So here bulk buyer, so that like this customer will become as a bulk buyer. So while maintaining the condition records for pricing, so when you want to maintain the price, so I can maintain directly for all the bulk buyers. This is the price. So this price will be applicable for all the bulk buyers who are having this flag as price group field as 01, right? The same way price list also. Okay, so I'll make the price. I'll select the price list field as wholesaler. So this customer will become as a wholesaler, right? So by using price list and price group, we can differentiate whether it's a wholesaler or bulk buyer. Like whatever, like it can be retailer, it can be end customer, whatever the differentiation. Like we can, if you want to do, you can use price group and price list. Based on these two fields, we can maintain the price. Okay. So these two fields are very important in pricing. Okay, we'll use these two fields when you're creating the pricing condition records. Okay, just remember that, like as of now, this price group and price list will be used to group the customer for pricing purpose. Okay, then any doubts here, any confusions? If you have any questions, you can ask me, like about price group and price list or any other fields here. Fine. So if you don't have a question, then I'll go for. So now going on to customer pricing procedure, which is very important field. So like it has like very big functionality when you're discussing about the pricing. So this full form of this field is customer pricing procedure. By default, the value is 1. Just keep it like this only. So you'll understand why I'm keeping 1 here in later, like when you're discussing about the pricing concept. Okay, the main purpose of this field is, okay, so this is one of the parameter. This is one of the parameter to determine the pricing procedure. Okay, just remember this one only. Okay, as of now, so this is one of the parameter to determine the pricing procedure. What is pricing procedure? That will be discussing in further sessions. Okay, just remember as of now. So like the customer pricing procedure will be used to determine, or customer pricing procedure is one of the parameter to determine the pricing procedure. So what is pricing procedure will be understanding further. Okay, so but I'll be keep on asking this question, like, so if I ask this question, like where do you maintain the customer pricing procedure, the answer should be, it will be there in the sales customer master data. Under sales data, under sales tab, we have the customer pricing procedure. Okay, just remember this field. Okay, so it will be useful, like till end of the course we'll be talking about this field, right? So customer pricing procedure will be available in customer master data. Under sales data, under sales tab, we have customer pricing pressure, which will be used for pricing pressure determination, or which is one of the parameter to determine the pricing pressure. All right. Okay. So this is about the price group, price list, and customer pricing pressure. So I'm not going to change any value here. Okay. So if you want to keep price group and price list, you can keep. Otherwise, just leave it blank, because we'll be discussing these two fields in pricing concept again. Right. So these are the very important fields as of now. Okay, remaining fields not required. Okay, so we don't use all the fields every time, right? So very important and very useful fields we'll be discussing here. And so coming to shipping tab now. So we have entered whatever the fields we required in sales tab. Now moving on to shipping tab here. In shipping tab, so first one is delivery priority. So what is the priority you're going to give to this customer? He's a very good customer for me. So I want to give high priority. So there is another customer, for him normal priority. So this parameter will be used to deliver the product based on the priority, right? So delivery priority is, like, you can say 0 1, high priority for this customer. That means whenever I'm placing the order for this customer, there will be high priority for it. Okay, so for making the delivery of the particular products, right? So this one of the important field in shipping tab. And shipping conditions, which is very important field again. Okay, so this is one of the parameter. Shipping condition is one of the parameter to determine the shipping point. So we know shipping point, right? In companies, if you take any multinational companies or like very big manufacturing companies, they'll be having multiple shipping points. Let's say I'm placing the order. Okay, so in our plant, let's say in plant 1, we have 3 shipping points: shipping point 1, shipping point 2, shipping point 3. So one is manual, another one is automatic, another one is like semi-automatic. Okay, 3 shipping points we have. So that means manual means there'll be loading the materials manually into the trucks. Here we have like big cranes, and we have some part of manual, and part of they'll be using some other vehicles to load the materials into truck. We have 3 shipping points. So there is a customer. There is a customer is placing the order. Okay, the materials from plant 1, right? So we have plant 1 here. So I'm placing the order for M1 material from plant 1, M1 material from plant 1. So now system has to find out the shipping point, but we have 3 shipping points here, right? 3 shipping points here. So which shipping point will be coming to the sales order for one material, for one item? Okay, so we'll have only one shipping point. We need to have only one shipping point in order for single item. I'm talking about single item. So which shipping point we need to determine here automatically by the system, whether shipping point 1 or shipping point 2 or shipping point 3, right? So for that we have certain criteria. So for that, determining the shipping point into the sales order, okay, that's what I was talking about. Let's say I want to get shipping point 1 here. To determine the shipping point 1 into the sales order, so this is one of the parameter. Shipping conditions is one of the parameter. Okay, just remember this field. So again, we'll be discussing while creating the sales order. I'll tell you like how the shipping point is getting determined. As of now, just remember that shipping point conditions is one of the parameter to determine the shipping point. Okay, so I'm selecting 0 1 here as soon as possible, so express delivery kind of thing, right? So as soon as possible. So you can select anything here. Okay, I'm just selecting 0 1. Okay, so delivery priority, shipping conditions. Okay, then we have delivering. So delivering plant. So delivering plant is like from which plant you're going to make the delivery for this customer. So I'm entering here T01. I have only one plant. That is the reason I'm entering this T01 directly. If you have multiple plants, like from which plant you want to make the delivery, so the data will be provided by the client again. So for this customer, for this customer, this is the nearest plant. So I want to make the delivery for this customer from this plant only. So those details will be getting from client. So here we have only one plant. So I'm just entering here. Okay. 1 second. Sorry. Yeah. So these are one of the parameter, and so delivering plant. If I enter plant here, so that means for this customer, the material will be delivered from this plant. Okay. So again, we have relevant for POD. POD is nothing but a proof of delivery. So if we activate the checkbox, so whenever the material is delivered to the customer, or that means like whenever there is a outbound delivery is created, there will be proof of delivery POD document will be sent to the customer saying that like delivery has been material has been delivered to you. So these are like this is a document they'll be sending you through mail or like through courier, whatever. Okay, so based on the medium, so they'll be sending. So if you activate the checkbox, then only the particular customer is relevant for POD. Otherwise, we'll not be sending any proof of deliveries to the customers. And complete delivery required. So that means like let's say in order we have 10 items. Okay, 10 items. We ordered 10 items. So is this customer, if you activate the checkbox, complete delivery is required. That means all the 10 items need to be delivered to the particular customer at a time. Okay, so partial delivery is not going to accept. So for that, we can control from this checkbox. Okay, complete delivery is required. That means so order has to be delivered completely. So if you place the order for 10 quantity or 10 items, so complete quantity need to be delivered to the particular customer. Is not going to accept the partial deliveries. And if you don't activate, that means the customer is accepting the partial deliveries also. So for that also we have one control here, partial deliveries per item. Okay, so that means uh, if you see here, so here see different setting here, partial delivery is allowed. Okay, if I keep blank here, okay, so that means the customer is accepting the partial deliveries. How many, like how many partial deliveries, like only like for example, I'm taking the order. Okay, so to delivery, how many partial deliveries the customer is accepting. So that also we can control from here. How much quantity, so one quantity greater than 0. So whatever, like how many deliveries you wanted to make for the particular customer, that will be controlled. So here we have another setting, maximum partial deliveries. So maximum you can make 9 deliveries only to the particular customer. That means we have 100 quantity. 100 quantity can be distributed into 9 partial deliveries. Okay, that will be controlled here. Okay, so here we have under delivery tolerance and over delivery tolerance. So you can guess it, like what do you mean by under tolerance and under delivery tolerance and over delivery tolerance, right? So when you're practicing, just try to understand here. Okay, so what is the meaning of these two? Okay, it's very easy. We can understand by seeing the name itself, right? So if you don't understand something, okay, when you're discussing, if you want to know more details, right? So what you can do is there is a help file. Okay, in your keyboard, click on F1 button by selecting the particular field. For example, I'll select this field. Click on F1 in your button. We'll get the help file. So this is a like each and every field will have this help file. You can read like what is the importance of that field. Or else like if you don't understand here in the help, you can search in Google. So in Google, like we'll get so many answers, right? So you just try to understand these two fields when you're coming to the next session. Like so, you just do some R&D on this. Okay, it's not very important, but I'm just giving as an assignment for all of you, right? So now moving on to the next tab, billing documents. Okay, so we have a rebate checkbox here. So rebate, that means so there is a difference between rebate and discounts. Any idea what is the difference between these two? You might have heard about rebates and discounts, right? So what is the difference between these two? Any guesses? Just guess, like wild guess.
Yeah, rebate means when we purchase that one, they will send a check, or after delivery is made, then they will give rebate, and the discount is upfront. They will give some discount. Basically, that's what my understanding.
Yeah. So, but partially correct. But in which case we'll get the rebate? Like, can you explain more about that?
Rebate means once goods is delivered, sometime later, like 30 days, 90 days later, they are going to send a check or something to.
So, did you
Yeah.
saw that scenario anytime? Like, so I mean, when let's say, for example, I'm buying one laptop, so it
Mhm.
has delivered after 15 days or 30 days, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so you mean to say they'll send the discount in check form again?
Yeah, that's what my understanding.
Okay,
Later,
so I mean, I
not
did not see that
upfront.
kind of
Yeah.
scenario in business. Like, I mean, to
Okay.
be frank, yeah. So, I
Okay.
mean, maybe you might have got it, but that is not exactly rebate. But I'll tell you what any other question answers for the rebate.
if we buy any product from Target, if we are going to return that, they will pay, they will give credit for that, or
That is credit memo, right? So that is
check.
not the rebate. That is
Okay.
credit memo. So I'm talking about the rebate. Rebate also kind of discount, but there is a difference between discount and rebate.
But we have to pay the full amount at the time of purchase.
Even if you go to Costco, we are paying full amount. Or if you go to, even if you're buying in credit card, also will get the discounts, right?
The upfront discount is upfront,
Mhm.
but rebate will be the after, meaning like a post. That's what I am thinking.
Yeah, that's correct. But so I just wanted to understand real business scenario, how it works.
Discounts will apply before the payment, but rebate will be applied after the payment.
Any example? Any example? That is correct, but I just wanted to understand the business scenario. So example.
Yeah,
I just wanted to-
actually, here in Macy's, when we buy some product, like during the Thanksgiving, we'll
Mhm.
get a rebate form. Like once we buy, we'll if it is for $15, we buy it for $15 upfront, and later on we'll submit the rebate form with the they'll give some sticker, so we'll send it to the Macy's. Then later on they'll send the
Exactly.
rebate amount.
Exactly. That is a perfect example. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. So basically, rebate is based on the, it's the agreement between the customer and company. Okay. So it will be based on time period and quantity what he's purchasing. Okay. Let's say I'll give a target like, 30 days of time. So within 30 days of time, if you're able to purchase something $1,000, you're going to get the $200 extra discount. Right. So for that, system will keep tracking all the billing documents, whatever we have created for these 30 days. Let's say today we have we have placed the order for 200. Tomorrow I'm going to place the order for 200. Till 30 days, whatever is the agreement, rebate agreement, I have an agreement for 30 days. So for these 30 days, system will keep tracking all the billing documents, whatever we have created under your name. Right. So system will calculate end of the agreement date. Right. So after 30 days, system will calculate what is the total amount. Let's say, yeah, my billing, my billing documents accumulated to 1,500. So what is your target quantity? $1,000. So I have achieved my target, whatever they have given to me. So I'm eligible for 5% discount. So 1,500 into 5. So that will be given as a credit memo to you. Right. That is a rebate. Whereas discount will be given as upfront. So as everybody knows that. Clear? So these are one of the parameter, so we need to activate. If you activate the checkbox, that means this customer is relevant for rebate. Right? Clear? Any questions here? Got it, right? Yeah. So now, so moving on to Incoterms. So Incoterms are terms and conditions. Okay, for the this is the international chambers of commerce. There will be predefined rules and regulations or payment terms for freight charges. Okay, for that we need to enter these details. Okay, you can enter whatever the value. It's very important. Without Incoterms, the legally it cannot be delivered to the customers. CFR, these are the standard Incoterms which will be provided by the government. So I'm just entering, I'm selecting CFR. You can enter some description, whatever meaningful description, right? Okay. You can enter these details. Okay. So this is mandatory field. Okay. Without Incoterms, there is a terms and conditions. You'll not be able to make the delivery to the customers. Right. Then we have terms of payment. These are the payment terms. Okay. How many days you will take to make the payment for the company? You need to pay immediately, or if you pay later, what is the charges you're going to get, and if you pay immediately, what is the cash discount you're getting. So we have all the payment terms available, payment terms in SAP. If not, if you want to have your specific company specific payment terms also, you can define our own. Right. So selecting 0001, that means it has to pay immediately. Like this, we have different types of payment terms here. Within 14 days, if you pay, 3% cash discount you'll get. Okay, so like this, we have many payment terms. Whatever the payment terms you wanted to enter, you can select it here. So 0001, I'm selecting for time being. Okay, credit controlling area. So there is a separate topic called credit management. How we are going to manage the credit limit for the customers. Okay, so I'm having the credit card. So my credit card limit is $10,000. My friend's credit card limit is almost $40,000. So how the system will understand that? Okay, so for this customer, this is a credit limit. For that customer, Okay, so credit limit is different. I'm using same cards. Both of us are using same card, but the credit limit is different for the customers. And how the system will react when the customer exceeds his credit limit, right? When I'm swiping, like the customer limit has been exceeded. How the system will respond? Okay, so whenever I exceed my credit limit, so those things will be discussing the credit management. So to have that credit management configured in SAP, so the credit control area is a very important organizational unit which we need to define. So that we'll be discussing later, okay, about the credit management. Okay, so just remember that credit controlling area will be used for credit management purpose. And account assignment group. Okay, so whenever I save the billing document, accounting documents will be generated. Customer account will be debited and revenue accounts will be credited. Right? If you are a FI student, like you might be knowing the general ledger accounting entries. Okay, so to post the customer accounts, this is one of the field to be entered. Okay, so whether this customer is like a domestic customer or like foreign customer. Okay, so to post this accounting documents for the particular customer, this is one of the important field. So we have separate topic called account determination. So we'll be discussing how the accounting documents will be generated and how the posting will happen. That will be discussing later in further sessions. But as of now, just enter the field, just make the you can enter like 01 domestic revenues. So that means whenever I create the billing document for this customer, so this accounting documents will be posted under the domestic revenues based on the customer. If the customer is export customer, then we'll select the another option. So you can create our own account assignment group also. Okay, so here we have in standard 3, but if you want to create your own account group also, we can create it. Okay, I'm just selecting 01 here. Okay, so enter the taxes. Okay, so this section will be called as a tax classification. Okay, so whether this customer is relevant for tax or not, so that will be entered here.
Yeah,
Yes.
seems like your battery is going die. So
yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so here we have tax classifications here. So tax classification, like whether the particular customer is relevant for full tax, off tax, or no tax, that will be controlled from here. Okay, so here we have many options. So full tax, if you want to have off tax also, you can enter. Okay, so full tax. So we have different kinds of tax relevant, different types of taxes, right? So we can enter, we will have multiple options. Okay, so you can enter here, right? So then press enter, enter these details. So these are the important fields. Okay, income terms and payment terms, account assignment group, and taxes. And moving on to the partner functions. Here you can see, so whether particular customer is a sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, or payer. So here in our example, he himself is a sold to party. That means he is going to place the order, he is going to receive the material, he is going to receive the bill, he is going to pay the bill. Okay, so he is a sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, and payer. Okay, how the system will understand that this is a customer is a sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, and payer because of account group. The account group which you have selected, it supports all the partner functions, right? So here we got the partner function. Nothing to be entered here because system is automatically determining the partner functions. Nothing to be entered here. Now we entered general data, company code data, nothing but accounting data, and sales area data. Right, all these details we have entered. Like in sales area data, we have sales tab, shipping, billing, partner functions, everything we have here. Then save it. Now my customer is getting saved. So now customer is got saved. Okay, so 301-813 customer number, we got it here. Right, this is the customer number. Okay, so if you want to change any address or phone number, anything in future, so as I told you, okay, XD01 is the transaction code which will be used to create. Same way, XD02 is the transaction code, is for change. If you want to change any address details for the customer, you'll just get into XD02, enter the details. Okay, enter your customer and other details. So get into customer master data. So whatever the details you want to change the general data, just go to general data, enter, change the details, and then save it. If you want to change the company code data, if you want to change the sales data, whatever the data, if you want to change, just change it and save it. Right? Just save it. Right? So there is another transaction code, right? What is another transaction code for the customer? XD01 and XD02. What is the other one?
XD03.
XD03 used for display purpose, displaying the customer. This just for viewing, like, we cannot edit anything. So this is just for display purpose, right? So this is about the, like, just to see the data. We cannot edit, we cannot make any changes for this customer master data if we get into XD03 transaction code. All right. So this is about the customer master data. Right. Any questions here before we move for next master data? Any questions? Fine. So now, as part of master data, we have created the customer master data. So what is the next master data which we need to discuss now? What is the next master data we need to create?
Material master.
Material master data. So as of now, we have customers. So we have customers. So in here, I'm creating only one customer, right? So, but in companies, so they'll be having lakhs of customers. They'll be having like customer master data like in lakhs. Okay. So now I'm going to create material master data. Okay. How to create a material master data? So what are the different fields which we need to understand as SD consultant? So that will be creating now. So as I said before, any master data or any transaction data will be created from easy access screen, right? So I'm into easy access screen, getting to logistics, sales and distribution, master data, products, materials, other materials, create. So this is a screen where we will be creating the material master data. And the transaction code for creating the material master data is MM01. Okay, MM01 for creation, MM02 for change, and MM03 for display. MM03 for display. Right. So I'm just entering the material name. Okay, any material, like you can say iPhone. Right, iPhone 14, whatever the name you want to give. Okay, so then select the select industry sector, or you can start a group, right? So instead of iPhone, we can enter different material. So, I'm sorry, it's getting loaded. One second. Okay, so I'm going to MM01. So it's here computer, right? So sorry, we can enter any material. I'm just going to create the new material. Let's say Safari. I'm just going to create the material called Safari. Okay, so just take time. Then the first time, right? Like it is trying to buffer the things. So let it be loaded. Yeah. So now, so select the industry sector. Once we enter the material which you are going to create, select the industry sector. There are so many industry sectors like chemical industry, based on this industry sector which you are selecting here, the fields in the material master data will get changes. Okay, if I select the educational services, so only educational services related fields will be displayed in the material master data. So okay, same way for chemical, same way for aerospace, beverages, so like high tech. So whatever the fields, whatever the industry sector which you select here, relevant fields will be displayed in the material master data. Okay, here I'm selecting the mechanical engineering because it covers everything. Okay, it covers all the fields. Okay, whatever we require, generic fields will be displayed in the mechanical engineering. When you're practicing also, select the mechanical engineering. Okay, so that all the fields will be covered in the mechanical engineering for whatever we require for SD. Okay, so these are once you select the industry sector, so for the material Safari, that means I'm going to create the material called Safari for the mechanical engineering as an industry sector. Now I'm going to select the material type. What type of material it is? What kind of material you're going to create? Is it a raw material, or is it a service material, or is it a finished product? So what kind of product it is? That also we need to tell to the system. So based on the material type which you're selecting here, the fields in the material master data will be displayed. If it is finished product, the only relevant fields will be displayed. If it is raw material, only relevant fields will be displayed in the material master data. Okay, so there are so many material types which we'll try to understand very few here. First one is FERT. FERT means system understand that it is a finished product. Across the globe, whoever is using SAP, if I say FERT, that means they'll understand okay, it is finished product. Okay, so for practice purpose, you can use the FERT finished products. Other than FERT, we have raw materials, ROH. We can use raw materials also if your product is raw material, right? So then ROH is raw material. Then VERP. Okay, VERP is packaging material. Let me list it out here. We have FERT, finished products. Then we have, so what else we have? ROH is raw material. So DINE is service materials. So we'll pay only for service. There will not be any physical movement of the stock, right? So for service materials, right? We are paying for their service. Okay, not for the there will not be any physical delivery for the particular material. So those materials will be called as service materials. Then we have packaging material. What do you mean by packaging material? Any idea what is packaging material?
Packaged material means boxed material. So like soap boxes, right?
Exactly. So if you buy a TV, we'll have a cotton box for that, right?
Yes.
So okay, so we even we need to have stock for those materials. Without cotton boxes, they'll not make the deliveries, right? So if you have the finished product, so it is required to have the finished packaging materials also. So those materials also need to be maintained in SAP, right? So then we have FERT, ROH, DINE, work, and we have KMAT materials, configurable materials. Any idea what is configurable material? Configurable material. So for example, if you want to buy a iPhone, okay, so iPhone is a configurable material, right? Yes.
You buy the parts and assemble them together.
Yes, that is also one kind of configure, but in SAP, in this scenario, whenever I place the iPhone, right? So there will be different variants are available. Okay, so which color you want, color variant. Okay, so based on the color which you're selecting, the price may get changes. Then space. Okay, so 128 GB or 256 GB or 500 GB or 1 TB. Based on the space memory, the price may get changes. Okay, so we have different options over there. Different variants are there, right? The moment once I place the order for a particular material, variants will be displayed. Okay, for car, okay, if you want to buy black color, like $2,000 extra, or if I want to buy blue color, $2,500 extra. If I want to buy white color, there is no charges. Okay, so that means variants are getting displayed for the particular material whenever I place the order. So those kind of materials will be called as a configurable materials. Okay, so it's a kind of structured materials. Okay, if you want to create the configurable materials, then we use the material type as a KMAT. If it is a service material, we use the DINE as a service material type. And VERP is packaging material. FERT means finished products. ROH is raw materials, right? Then so we have few more material types. Let me check if there is anything missed out. I think we have HALB. Okay, semi-finished products. Yeah, we have HALB, which is called as semi-finished products. Semi-finished products. If you are creating any semi-finished products, then we need to use this HALB. HALB, sorry, HALB. Right. So now, so we have LEIH, which is another material type, which is called as a returnable packaging. Returnable packaging. Any idea what is returnable packaging? What is returnable packaging material? Returnable packaging material. What is packaging? And what is the difference between returnable and packaging materials? Any idea?
Returnable package means like whenever we are going to return something back to the seller, then we need to use that. This
Let's say in generic way, right? Like let's say
Yeah.
I bought something from Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we need to have returnable packaging material need to be maintained in our home? No, right?
No.
So then it is not the case. Something, I mean, there will be something else. So why we need to maintain the returnable packaging in our stock? Any guesses? It's very simple, like day-to-day life, you know. So you might have seen many things like this. Returnable
Maybe they
packaging.
want to return them to the vendor from where they're buying it.
What does that mean? Any example? That is vendor returns, right? Like when you're returning to the vendor again, like, so it is not required to maintain our stock returnable packaging materials in our stock. That is
Then
vendor.
you mean to say customer returns then?
Customer returns is different concept again. I'm talking about the packaging materials.
No idea.
Returnable packaging materials. So name itself says that it is a returnable packaging materials. Just guess it. Anyone else? So name itself says that returnable packaging materials. One more guess. Anyone of you? So let me give you a clue here. So once we use the product, so that means I'll buy a product, like I'll return the packaging material back to the company. If you're not if you're not returning that packaging material, they'll charge you. That packaging which holds the main material, that packaging material need to be returned back to the company. Did anyone of you seen this kind of scenario anytime before? It's very simple. Like you will see.
Yeah, when you buy a TV or a Dell computers or something like that, when you return them, you need to put that in their box and return it.
No, I'm
That
not talking
type
about the
of
material
thing?
return. I'm talking about the returning of the packaging material. The box we never return, right? They will not take the that box.
So you're going to pack. You are going to have the material with you so that you can pack and resell it.
No. So
No?
I'm talking about the returning the packaging material. In which case we'll use that one. See, once we buy certain products, I'm buying the one product. Okay, so I need to return the back. I need to return that packaging material. That box I need to give back to the company. If I don't give back that to the company, they'll charge you. You got it right? I'll buy certain products. Okay, that is delivered with the packaging material. I'll take the main product. Again, I'll return the packaging material to the company. If I don't return it, they'll charge you. In which case?
Yeah. That understood.
U-Haul containers or something like that.
Yeah, in day-to-day, in regular life, you can tell anything in regular life. Yeah, so the containers and all, like that is fine. Yeah, that is very good answer. But in day-to-day life, you might have seen every day. You have seen like many things.
Yeah.
Oh, water, spring water. When you buy the water for the filters, you need to return those empty bottles to them. Yeah.
Exactly. So that is the packaging material, right? We are paying for water, not for that can.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the same way, tea, if you buy a tea, if you go to hotel, like you'll pay for tea, not for the glass what they are giving, right? Coke bottles, we are paying only for the Coke, not for the bottle. We have to return back to them. If you break it, they'll charge you 5 rupees.
Yeah.
Right? These are all like, returnable packaging materials. Right? So if we are creating any returnable packaging materials, so then we'll be creating with the LEIH. The same way, egg crates. Okay, when you buy eggs, right, they'll be providing in crates. In India, we have to return back the crates to the company again. Otherwise, they're going to charge you 5 rupees or 10 rupees. Right? The same way, Coke bottles, they'll be delivering in crates again. So after delivering, the crates has to be returned back to the company. Right? So these are all like returnable packaging materials. Okay. So mainly we'll be dealing with this material types. Okay. So just remember this. What are the different? If someone will ask you, right, what are the different types of materials? What is the different kinds of material types you use? Then we can talk about these things. Okay. For practice purpose, we'll be using for timing FERT. Okay. I'll get into SAP now. Okay. So enter the material, industry sector, mechanical engineering, material type FERT. Select the views. So enter basic data 1, sales organization data 1, sales organization data 2, sales general plan data. Okay, so here, I'm selecting the views here. The moment once we enter the material, industry sector, material type, then we need to select the views. Okay, so here you can see the different kinds of views here. These views will be maintained by the MM, PP, FI, SD. There will be so many module people will be working on these views. I'm selecting the views, whatever we require for SD module. Okay. So I'm selecting the basic data 1. That means general information of the material master data. Then classification will be selecting later. So as of now, it is not required. Sales organization data 1, sales organization data 2, sales general plan data. These three are SD related. And we need to select MM and PP related also. Okay. Because we need to maintain the stock and we need to do the availability check, right? For that, I'm selecting the MRP1, MRP2, MRP3. So this purchasing view will be maintained by the MM team. Okay, so foreign data, export team, they'll be maintaining that. So as of now, we don't require all the data to be selected here. I'm selecting the views, whatever we require. Here I have selected the MRP1, MRP2, MRP3. So which are integration between MM, SD and FI, sorry, PP, production planning, sales and distribution, and materials management teams. So we need to enter these fields, certain fields. Okay, though we don't require to remember all the fields inside these three tabs, right? So, but just need to maintain certain data in this. So that is the reason I'm selecting this. So MRP means it is not a material requirement planning. It is not a maximum retail price. It is a material requirement planning. Okay, MRP means it is a material requirement planning. So MRP1, MRP2, MRP3. Okay, so I have selected the basic data 1. I've selected the sales organization data 1. I've selected the sales organization data 2, sales general plan data. Then coming down. So here I'm selecting the accounting 1 tab. So this data will be maintained by the FI team. So this data will be maintained by the MM and PP team. And we'll be maintaining the data. We are responsible for the data for sales organization data 1, sales organization data 2, sales general plan data. And basic data is general information. Okay, once we select the views, click on the organization levels. Under which organization levels you are going to maintain the material. So selecting the organization levels here. Enter the plant. Under which plant you are going to create this material. So my plant is TG01 and store location is TG01. Under which store location you are going to save this material, store this material, TG01. And sales organization TG01 and distribution channel is T1. Right. So we have entered the plant, store location, sales organization, and distribution channel. Right. Enter these details. Click on continue button. Okay. So now we got into basic data 1. So this is the first tab which you have selected in the views, right? So I've selected the basic data 1 here. Enter the description like material. We can enter any Safari, Tata SUV, whatever the description you want to enter. And enter the base unit of measure. That means how you're going to measure this product in pieces. Okay, so it is not required to remember all the fields. We will be discussing only fields, whatever we require for SD module. So enter the division, for which division this material belongs to. So my division is T1. That means this material which I'm creating now, it belongs to T1 division. And enter the gross weight and net weight. So gross weight is 100. You can say let's say 500 kgs. Net weight is let's say 450 kgs. So why we need to have the weight? So what is the purpose of having the weight in the master data? Any idea?
Shipping.
It is used for shipping when you're calculating the cubic weight in the containers or on the cargo.
Exactly. So it will be used to calculating the freight charges, right? Freight charges, right? Freight, like how much cost for shipping purpose, like that will be used by using the weight, whatever we are maintaining in the basic data one. Okay, so this is a basic data one. Once we enter the basic data one data, then press enter, automatically it will go to the sales organization one. So we selected the views like basic data one view, sales organization data one, sales organization data two, sales general plan data, MRP one, MRP2, MRP3, accounting one tabs, right? So we have entered the data in a basic data one. Now, once I press enter, then I got into sales organization one tab. Okay, here we'll enter the data. Enter the delivering plan. So from which plant this metal is getting manufactured. So I have only one plant. That is the reason I'm entering P01. If you want to enter different plant also, you can enter if you have multiple plants. And whether this material is relevant for cash discount or not. So if you activate the checkbox, that means yes, this material is relevant for cash discount. Okay, so then tax classification, whether this material is relevant for tax or not. So same way how we have in customer master data, right? The same way we have like full tax and off tax or no tax, that can be entered here. Press enter, right? So now once I press enter, once you enter the data here, these are the main data need to be entered. So required, like if you want to do some R&D and other fields, you can do some like research, like what is the minimum order quantity, what is the minimum delivery quantity, what is the delivering unit. So those things like you can do R&D on your own, because I never use these fields, but so you can understand easily by seeing these fields. Or if you want to do some R&D, just select a field and click on F1 button, you'll get the help file, so you can read those documents, right? So now sales organization data 2. So here, this is a very important tab what we have here. Material pricing group. Okay, so here which will be used for pricing purpose. So how we have the sales group and sales pricing group and price list, right? The same way we have material pricing group. So it's a grouping of the customer, grouping of the materials with the similar characteristics for pricing purpose. Okay, so this will be used for pricing purpose. We'll be discussing about this field in pricing concept. So just keep it blank, or you can select any value in this. And account assignment group. Okay, so it's a similar field we have in customer master data also for posting into general ledger accounts. Okay, for domestic customers, I want to post in one GL account. For export customers, I want to post in different GL accounts. So that is one of the parameter, right? But the same way here also, an account assignment group of material. So it is also used to post the GL accounts for the particular material. Okay, whenever I create the billing document for the particular material, so system will determine whether this posting need to be done trading as part of trading account or services or finished goods, whatever, right? So you can select it. Okay, so based on this entry, whatever we have selected, so GL accounts will be determined automatically whenever we save the billing document. Okay, so this will be used. This field will be discussed in pricing concept, and account assignment group will be used in GL account determination. We'll be discussing about these two fields later again. And a very important field is item category group. By default, the value is norm here. So again, it's a grouping of the materials with the similar characteristics. It's a normal material. Just to say normal material, I'm using the code as a norm. Norm means it is a normal material, regular material. So that means which can be delivered, physically delivered, and build item. Why I'm telling like it's a physically delivered material and build item, because there will be some items which cannot be physically delivered, but it can be built. For example, service materials. So like it cannot be physically delivered to the customers, but there is a value for that. Right? Those kind of materials. Okay, so here I'm using norm because it is a physically delivered item, and it can build also. There are some items which can be delivered physically, but they will not be built, like user manuals. When I buy car, so I'll be getting the user manuals. And I buy TV, I'll be getting the user manuals, right? Or brochures, right? So like it can be delivered physically. That user manuals can be delivered physically, but it doesn't have any value for that, right? So for those kind of materials, we'll have different item categories, item category groups. So I'm using norm means like system, like it's a system will understand it's a normal material which can be delivered physically and which can be built also. Okay, so that is the importance of item category group. So the main importance of another importance of item category group is, so which will be used in item category determination. So just remember this word. Okay, so again, this will be this item category determination. That word will be like, we'll be using till end of the course or all the sessions, where somewhere here, we'll be discussing about the item category. Okay, so item category group is one of the parameter will be used to determine the item category. Okay, just remember this word again. Okay, so these are the three important fields. Okay, so and other assignment for all of you is, when you're coming for the next session, just try to find it out, like what is the difference between general item category group and item category group. Both are having like norm only. So what is the importance of general item category group and item category group? Okay, if you don't know, like you can search it in Google, you'll get many answers, or else you can search for the FL file also by pressing F1. Okay, just try to understand what is the difference between these two. Then we'll discuss. If you have any doubt, we'll discuss it in next class. Okay, so once we enter the material pricing group, account assignment group, and item category group. Okay, so then moving on to the next tab. So here we have mandatory fields here: transportation group and loading group. So transportation group is like, grouping of the materials with the transport with the which shares with the similar kind of transportation, right? So here transportation group is, I'm selecting here. So how we are going to transport this material? So by containers, right? So I'm just entering here. How we are going to load this material? Loading group is nothing but a, so how we are going to load this material? So by using forklift or manual, whatever. So I can say crane. By using crane, I'm loading this material into trucks. So that means like, so transportation group and loading group, so which will be used in metal master data under sales general plan data. So transportation group says that how we are going to deliver this material. Okay, and it is very important to determine the route also. Okay, based on the route, okay, route based on the transportation group, the route may get changes. Right, if it is a bigger vehicle, bigger machinery, then we'll be delivering it in one route. Okay, if it is a normal material, we'll be delivering it in normal delivery. Right, so that is the reason I'm telling, like, so transportation group will be used to determine the route also. The same way, loading group will be used for shipping point determination also. Okay, so these are one of the parameter to determine the shipping point. Okay, so we'll be discussing like, how the route will be determined and how the shipping point also will be determined later sessions. Okay, these two fields are very important. Okay, someone will ask you, where do you maintain the loading group and transportation group? The answer should be, it will be maintained in material master data. Under sales general plan data, we have transportation group and loading group. These two will be maintained in, right? Press enter. So now moving on to MRP1. So material requirement planning. As I said, it's a material requirement planning. It is not a maximum retail price. Okay, so here MRP1, MRP2, MRP, these three are like, SD, MM, and FI integration, PP integration. Okay, so there are some fields which will be entering blindly. Okay, which it is not required for us to know about those fields, because those fields will be maintained by PP or MM people. Okay, so like this is one of the field in that. Okay, MRP type. Okay, so how here I'll be entering PD. That means this material is relevant for planning purpose. So what do you mean by planning here? So how, when the customer places the order for this material, system will do the available check. So what is the current order? What is the stock is available? How many deliveries are planned? So those calculations will be done and it confirms the delivery date to the customers. Okay, if you want to do that planning, this is a triggering point. If you maintain the PD, that means system will do the available check for the particular item. Otherwise, system will not do the available check for the particular item. Okay, so MRP type is a very important field, which I'm entering PD. PD means planning, relevant for planning. If I enter ND, that means not relevant for planning. That means system will not do the available check if I enter ND here. Okay, if it doesn't know, if you're not able to remember, you'll find it in the drop down also. Okay, see here MD, PD. So we have ND somewhere. Like if I enter ND, that means it is not allowed. See here, no planning. So PD means MRP. It's relevant for planning. Okay, so I'm entering PD, and important field need to be entered is MRP controller. You can enter 000. So this data will be entered by the production planning team. Even lot size also EX, which will be entered by production planning. For practice purpose, just blindly enter MRP controller and lot size EX. Okay, so then press enter. Now automatically get into MRP2 tab. It's taking time. Okay, so now we got into MRP2 tab. So in this we can see in-house production. That means how many days it will take to make the material to manufacture the particular material. Okay, so let's say Tata Safari, it will take 10 days to make the manufacturing, the in-house production. If it is manufacturing your plant, how many days it will take? So 10 days. Schedule margin key, which will be entered by the production planning team again. So 000, I'm entering for our practice purpose. So these two fields are very important here, nothing else. Moving on to MRP3. Okay, so here we have available check is 01, which is by default 01 is here, and total replenishment lead time. Okay, total replenishment time is nothing but it's a, we'll call it as a RLT, total replenishment lead time. So this field specifies that okay, how many days it will take to make the material available. It can be internal production or external procurement. That means we can manufacture in our plant, or you can procure from our external plant also, external vendor also, whatever it is. You are buying it from outside or you're manufacturing it your plant, whatever it is. Maximum how many days it will take to make the material available. Let's say I'll enter 10 days. That means at any cost, 10th day, like material will be available for the delivery. Okay, so RLT is 10 days. Okay, that means how many days it will take to make the material available. It can be internal production or external procurement, whatever it is. So on 10th day, I'm like my material will be confirmed. Okay, so press enter. Now we'll get into accounting one tab. So this is a tab which will be maintained by the FIT. Okay, so here valuation class, which is very important. So again, it is accounting related. For practice purpose, S7920. We can enter 7920. So basically, it will be getting from FI consultants. Okay, if you want to understand valuation class, it is a, like which like it is a FI related terminology. So it's accounting word. Like if you want to know more details about that, you can click on F1 button on this. Okay, valuation class. For finished products, the valuation class which I'm entering here is 7920. So if you want to know more about valuation class, what is the reason, like what is the example or what is the exact reason to be entered for the valuation class, you can enter. You can search it in Google, or you can search the help button also. You can see the help button also, right? Okay, so it is getting saved. So you can see here. So what is the importance of valuation class, right? So enter the valuation class, enter the standard price. So standard price is nothing but a cost of the material, cost of production. So cost of production, let's say, so 5,50,000 rupees. So these are how, 5,50,000 is the cost of the production. That means it is a manufacturing cost. So based on that, they'll keep like some margin and they'll sell it to the customers. Right? So these are the main fields which I have entered here. Like we entered the data in sales, basic data 1, and we have entered in sales organization data 1, sales organization data 2, sales general plan data, MRP 1, MRP 2, MRP3, and accounting tab. So in accounting tab, we have entered the valuation class as 7920. For different material types, we'll have different material types, those different valuation classes. For FART, the valuation class is 7920. For standard price, like nothing but a cost of the material, cost of production. So it will be used for profit margin calculation. So cost of the material is 5,50,000 rupees. Okay, cost of the material or manufacturing cost of the material is 5,50,000 rupees. You can enter any value, so it will be used for profit margin calculation. Then press enter. Now I'm going to save my material. right? So now we are going to save the material. It is getting saved now. It's taking time. Why it is taking time? Okay, so the once it is get saved, so the material will be available in our database. Like when our when our customer places the order, so we can create the deliveries for this material. Right. So any questions here? So before it gets saved. So we discussed about the enterprise structure. Then we started discussing about the master data. In master data, we created customers and we have created the material master data also. Right. Any questions? Any of these topics? It takes some time. Like very first time, it is taking time. If you have any questions, you can ask me. So or else like we can connect tomorrow for remaining topics. Like so we'll discuss about the master data, like condition records, how to maintain the condition records for the particular material. There is price discounts, how to maintain that. So then we can start with the transactions also. Right? Yeah. Yes. Any questions? Fine then. So we'll catch up tomorrow. Okay, you can message me or like you can Slack. You can message in group also if you have if you start something while practicing. Clear?
Thank you, Sudhakar.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you. Catch up tomorrow. Thank you all.